Hello, YouTube. If you watched I think it was my Hulk versus review, which was the last review before, um, which was my last review that I did, I think, on Thursday. I said that I would be going away for a short time. I said I'd be going away for a short time, so I got back last night. Um, didn't really feel like didn't really even though I got back fairly early. I was just so tired from the trip, and I didn't feel like I didn't really feel like streaming anything. But anyway, I'm here now. I am here to show off everything that I got on my trip to Pennsylvania Gettysburg. Now, this is something that I have been. This is something that I have been wanting to do since I was a kid. My family and I have been talking about doing this literally for like 20, 30 years. And I was finally able to go. So let me show you what I got. First, I got a pocket watch. And yes, it came. I also got this chain, and then it obviously opens because, pocket watches open. But yeah, so I got, so this was one of the things that I got. And then, now I bought this before, I left for my trip. However, the reason I bought it before my trip was because the author, Jeff Shara, who writes, historical fiction, lives in Pennsylvania Gettysburg, and he was doing a signing at where was it? Anyway, he was doing a signing at a museum that I just happened to be very, very close to, to where I was staying. So I brought this with me, and he signed it for me. And he signed it for me. Now, if you follow his work, interesting story about this book. He was there, signing, and it said if you go to jeffshara.com, if you go to jeffshara.com, you can not only buy you're not only able to buy, books from him, and, books, audiobooks, stuff like that. He will, if you check his homepage, he will post like info on whether it be like his next, like his next project, or just an interesting fact about or whether it be like an interesting fact about his most recent project or whatever. So, interesting thing about this book, is he originally he posted, in his home section on his homepage, he originally said that he scrapped, or I shouldn't say scrapped, but he shelved this book. And he said at the time, originally he said that he, on the homepage, he said that he shelved it at the time because he basically thought it would be too boring. He said, he felt like, the story wouldn't, he felt like the story wouldn't, it wouldn't hold, the reader's attention, and when it would just be too talky, basically, and just he felt like not, he felt like there wasn't enough there to hold the reader's interest. So originally he shelved it. And then when I was talking to him, I literally, like, the first thing I asked him was, he was signing, like, while he was signing this for me, I asked him, you originally shelved this book. What made you change your mind? And he said to me, well, I was working on another book at the time. So this just kind of got, like, pushed aside. And that kind of just got, like, pushed aside. But the publisher, really, really wanted me to do it. And when I was looking through it again, and then he said to me, and when I was looking through it again, I actually realized it's a much better, there was a lot more to it, and it was a much better story than I remember. So he said that was his reasoning for basically reviving the project. So anyway, and then this one I bought. This one I bought while I was there. And he signed this one as well. And then he signed this one as well. Oh, I should probably tell you what the what the book is about. As you can probably, I don't know if you can tell or not, but he writes historical fiction. And this book, The Eagle's Claw, this is about the Battle of Midway. This is about the Battle of Midway, which is obviously World War II. The Shadow of War is you can probably see it right here, but it's a novel of the Cuban Missile Crisis. So it's a novel of basically, excuse me, it's basically the I want to say the Cold War, I think. But anyway, yeah, so there's that, so there's those. And then this was another author that I ran into. He was signing books on Sunday. He was signing books on Sunday. He was signing books on Sunday when I went to see the reenactments. I have a couple of pictures on my phone. I will show those to you in a minute. But the place where the reenactments were held, they had like a little they had vendors there, and Bob O'Connor, who I'm not familiar with, was there, signing books. So I ended up getting a couple of his books. So he, so like Jeff, he signed this one for me. And this one, if you have seen the movie Gettysburg, this is actually a scene from the movie Gettysburg. This is actually a scene from the movie Gettysburg. And it's one of those covers that, that winds around the book. So, yeah, so he signed this one. And then this one I also got by him. And like the other one, he also signed it. Excuse me. Now this one, interesting story about this one. This one is where the reenactments were held. The place where the reenactments were held. This is the place where the reenactments were held was actually here at the Confederate hospital. Now, obviously, it's not a Confederate hospital anymore, but this was where the reenactments were held. And he actually said to me, that where the reenactments were held, it used to be a Confederate camp. And he actually said to me that while I was there, talking to him, he actually said to me, this is the only Confederate camp that left in the world that's open. The rest of them are all closed. That was the only one. That was the only one in the world left still open. So when he told me that completely blew my mind. But yeah, no, he so he autographed this one for me as well. And like Jeff Shara, he has an entire website, where you can buy his books and stuff like that. BobO'Connor.com, I think it is. So yeah, so I got those. And then let me see, I already showed you that one. Now these books, and I have a couple of more books here. These are not autographed. These are just, books that they had there for sale that I just decided to get. So I have this one, The Attack and Defense of Little Round Top, Gettysburg, July 2nd, 1863. So there's this one, and it says it's by Oliver Wilcox Norton, who I'm not familiar with, but Gettysburg is one of my favorite movies, like, ever. So I decided to pick this up. And then I have another one here, Soul of the Lion, a biography of General Joshua L. Chamberlain. Now, I got this one because Jeff Daniels, Jeff Daniels, who plays Joshua Chamberlain in the Gettysburg movie. To me, I don't know about anybody else, but to me, that is his best friggin' performance, like, ever. Like, he was just so friggin' incredible in that movie. Yes, he is my favorite character in the movie. He is my favorite character in the movie. So I thought, buying buying his, biography, I'm like, yeah, I need to have this. So there's this. And then while I was at while I was at um while I was at the book signing for Jeff Shara on Saturday, I think it was. Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. They had upstairs. They had a book sale going on. They had a book sale going on of like a bunch of different, like Civil War books and war books and stuff like that. So I got, and like I said before, these aren't signed or anything like that. These are just, regular books. Excuse me, that that I thought, looked interesting. So I have here Civil War stories, and if you look on the back here, it tells you all the different stories that it includes. So part one is called What I Saw of Shiloh, and it's the Battle of Shiloh, and then and just, it's a bunch of different like Civil War stories and stuff like that. So I thought this looked really, really interesting. And then this one is called A Southern Yarn. And this one is and it says here, if Lee had, it says A Southern Yarn, if Lee had sprung the trap he set for Grant on the North Anna River, could he have forced the surrender of the Union Army? Might the South have abolished slavery to secure its independence? Here you have the ingredients of A Southern Yarn, which enters its second printing as one of the most talked about Civil War stories of our time. With his first novel, R.W. Richards, who I'm not familiar with, R.W. Richards has taken historical fiction into waters seldom explored in American literature. So this is another historical fiction book. So there's this, and then this one is called Suddenly We Didn't Want to Die. Memoirs of a World War I Marine. So this book is set in World War I. So this is a World War I book. And now I'm a huge history buff. mainly World War II and Civil War are my favorites. However, I pretty much know next to nothing about World War One. So when I saw this, this really caught my interest. And from what I understand, a lot of people don't really know about. A lot of people don't really know about World War One. World War Two really, because when World War Two happened, it really kind of, like overshadowed it. Um, I mean, I know a tiny bit about World War One. I mean, World War One obviously led into World War Two, um, but yeah, but I mean, other than like small bits, I really, um, I really don't know much. But anyway, and then when I bought this at the gift shop when I went to see when I went to the Jeff Shar signing. So I bought this mug, and obviously it says Gettysburg. Um, it says Gettysburg 1863 National Military Park. Um, so yeah, and then there's nothing on the back, um, but yeah, so I got this, and then um, I also I got this T-shirt here. Hang on, let me take the tag off. Now, this is a scene from the movie Gettysburg, and it says Chamberlain's charge at Little Round Top, bayonets. So there's this, and then this was something I also got at the gift shop. Now this here, I think is a pocket knife, and these are all in the casing here on the side. These are all real, legit stuff from the Civil War. Like these aren't, these aren't reproductions. These are the real thing. So the thing on the side here, I think, is a pocket knife, and then at the bottom, here, I think that's a button. I think that's a button on the, that they used on one of the coats back then. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is, but this and this are bullets. They are actual Civil War bullets. So I am going to find a place to put this. I have no idea where this is going to go, but I will find a place to put it. And then I also found these at the gift shop. These are it says Epic Battles of the Civil War, Volume 1, First Bull Run. And sorry, excuse me. This is the first of a 4-volume comic book series of I guess you could call them one-shots. and they are um, um, they are like one shot comics, um, which were apparently done by Marvel. Interestingly enough, that they were done by Marvel Comics, and they are um, they are obviously, they're about, the Civil War. Um, the the art in I have not read these yet, but the art in them um, is actually really, really good. Um, somebody they really um, it says penciled by Richard. It says penciled by Richard Rockwell and inker Fred Fredericks. And I'm not familiar with either of them. However, um, they definitely know how to tell a story. I will give them that. But yeah, they are just unbelievable creators. Yeah, so this is volume 1. This is volume 2, Shiloh, the Battle of Shiloh. Oh, it looks like this one was done by a different artist in a different inker. It says volume 2. This one was apparently done by Gary Morrow is the artist, and Marie Severn looks like is the inker. And the art is just as good as it is in the first volume. It's just as good as it is in the first volume. But yeah, so this is the Battle of Shiloh. And then volume 3. And then volume 3. See here, if you look in the corner here, it says Marvel Comics. This one was done by artist Angelo Torres, and Curtis Woodbridge is the colorist. And the art here, they really picked incredible artists, and they really picked incredible artists to to do these. I honestly, I had no idea that these even existed. The first time I saw them was when I went to Gettysburg. They had them at one of the shops, and they had all 4 of them. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get these. And then the final volume, Gettysburg. This one is drawn by George Woodbridge, and inkers John I don't know how to pronounce this. John, yeah, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that. But and then George Woodbridge is also one of the inkers. But yeah, no, just really incredible art here. For the series overall. Just great Great art, great, beautiful art, beautiful inks, um, just incredible, just incredible art here. Yeah, so so there's those, and then um, I'm going to show you guys something very, 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 very special. Um, these, I have quite a few of these. This is a fired bullet. And the reason why it is, the reason why it looks like this is because it was fired. It was fired during the Civil War, and it was, I don't know. I think it was probably like a defective bullet, or or maybe they missed or something like that. But no, this was an actual bullet that was fired from a musket. So so there's this, and then this is an actual musket ball. This is excuse me. This is a real musket ball that they would put, in a musket, that they would put in a musket, and that they would, that they would fire from, from an actual musket. However, if you look at the difference between this one and this one obviously hasn't been fired. So, and this one obviously was. So that's the difference. And then this is a bullet from, I think, a pistol. I think it's a pistol bullet. And these are all real. Like these are all real, bullets from actual muskets. They, at the gift shop, they have, they will tell you, they have a, where they have the, they have like a little, they have like a container or whatever of, I'm not shitting you, of like real, like bullets and stuff like that you can buy, for sale from, that were actually used, like during the Civil War. And it, and each one has, and, in the, like where they're all stored, each one has like a little piece of paper telling you specifically like what it is, what what kind of gun it went to, what kind of gun it went to and stuff like that. And this one, I believe, is a rifle bullet that, again, that went to an actual rifle used during the Civil War. This one is, I don't remember what this one is. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of the, of any of the pieces of paper telling you what it is. I know I probably should have taken some, but but yeah, so there's those, and then um, um, and then I have this here. This is a actual shell fragment of yeah, so this is an actual shell fragment. It's a shell artillery fragment. And and like I said before, these, all of these, they aren't, like reproductions or anything like that. They're all real. That these are all real, like bullets and stuff like that, from the Civil War. Um, and then, um, I did say I had some pictures to show off, so I will show those off now. Um, I will show those off right now. Um, this one is, you can probably tell, these are all real Civil War knives used, during the Civil War. And those are all real knives. And then this one, this was in one of the shops that I went to, and these are all the different pistols that were used during the Civil War. And these aren't reproductions. These are all real. These are all the real thing. And they were actually, you can see you can probably see tags next to them. That's because they were all for sale. I mean, they were obviously all, out of my price range, but this is obviously, these are obviously all things that, like diehard collectors would buy. But yeah, and then you have here you have, like different types of swords that they would use, different types of swords and stuff like that. And then here we have some of the hats that were used back then. We have some of the hats that were used back then. And and stuff like that. And then I have some pictures from the reenactments. I have some pictures here from the reenactments. So this is, these are, some of the actors dressed up on horses, and if you can see, yes, they are actually holding, swords and stuff like that. And then we have another one here. We have another shot here of them with swords and them, like riding around and stuff like that. Excuse me, sorry. This was a shot of them retreating, and this cannon in the background, yes, they actually did fire that off. It was, obviously, they were blanks, but yes, but that is an actual cannon, and they actually did fire it off. I actually have a shot. I actually have a picture here. You might not be able to see it, or maybe you will, but if you look really closely here, you could actually see, you see the smoke, but you see that the cannon is actually being fired. And it's, you actually see that the cannon is being fired off. And yes, it was every bit as loud as you can imagine. And then we have another picture here of them, like riding around, and them, like riding around and going back and forth and stuff like that. What else? Here's here's a shot of the actual sword fighting. So that's a picture of the actual sword fighting. But yeah, no, just overall an incredible experience. I mean, like I said, I've been wanting to go my whole life, and finally, after, like 20, 30 years of talking about it, I was finally able to go. But yeah, no, so that's, I do have I have one item downstairs. I have a poster. I do have one item downstairs. I have a poster of Gettysburg, which I don't really feel like, like going downstairs right now to get it, but it's just like a small, poster of, it's from the movie, but it's, it's just, like a small poster of, of like one of the scenes from, from the movie Gettysburg. But yeah, no, that's what I got. As you can probably tell, I spent quite a bit of money. Obviously more than I was expecting to spend. Another thing I want to get into is I want to go back and talk about a little bit about the Confederate camp where I saw the reenactments. That was, hold on, my battery's running low. Let me plug it in, y'all. Hold on. I want to talk about the there we go. I want to talk about a little bit about the Confederate camp. That I saw the reenactments. Where I saw the reenactments. So it was a they while I was there, they had a barn. They had a barn, and in there was I mean, they obviously weren't real bodies, but they had like fake, I want to say, like mannequins of, they had, like mannequins dressed up. They had like mannequins dressed up in actual, like Civil War, like outfits. And they were using the mannequins to represent, basically, like some of the victims of the Civil War. So they had like, so like one mannequin they had dressed up, sort of like leaned, sort of like on top of like a pile of hay, showing that was basically your hospital bed back then. That was basically, your hospital bed back then. If you got injured, or, if you got injured or whatever, and and you needed to recuperate, that was basically, your hospital bed back then. Um, that was basically, like what they that was basically what the Confederate hospitals used, for a bed back then. Um, and then, um, and then they had sort of like a little, they had like a bin of, um, that they had like a bin of like fake limbs, like like feet and hands and stuff like that, that were, that they obviously had to like amputate back then. um and then they had an actual photograph of like all the different, like amputated limbs and stuff like that. um and and yeah, it was, um and and then um they had a encased, they had like the different like surgical tools and stuff that they used back then. And the interesting thing is, you know I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, obviously, a great deal of them, obviously did die in combat, but a lot of them died from like infection. you know a lot of them died from, from infection, because of the doctors, not being able to have, like the necessary, the, like not having, the necessary, the necessary things that they needed, to properly sanitize, their, y- their surgical tools and stuff like that, like they obviously do today. Um, like, how, like obviously today, when you're in the hospital and you need surgery or whatever, they'll obviously, properly sanitize the, um, the tools and stuff that they use to make sure that there's no like germs or anything like that, um, on the, from the last time, that they were used. During the Civil War, they didn't really understand, stuff like germs and bacteria and stuff like that. It's actually kind of really gross, to think about. But yeah, no, it's true. I mean, a lot of them died from, like infection and like germs and bacteria and stuff like that, because of, again, because of the doctors not being able, to properly clean and sanitize their, surgical tools. But yeah, no, I mean, as as a history buff, I was just, um, I was completely blown away by, by everything. I mean, like I said, this is a place that I've been wanting to go my whole life. I was finally able to go. Um, and yeah, it was such an amazing experience. And it's definitely one that I will, that I will definitely, that I will definitely not be forgetting. Um, but yeah, no. So let me know what you guys think of all this, of what I got. Have you been to Gettysburg? Have you been to Gettysburg? What did you think? Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.